Welcome to the Mound City Council. It's Tuesday, April 28th, sorry, I don't have my class now. 6 o'clock. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we got our agenda. Do we have any amendments?
I do not have Ryan preach here tonight
Okay.
due to illness, so I suggested to him that if he was willing to come back in 2 weeks, and if it was okay with the city council, that we would do the Avon Park survey presentation at the first meeting in May.
Okay, so 5B we're going to skip.
Correct.
Take that out. Okay. And that's it?
That's it.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda sans 5B?
Motion to approve the agenda except for 6B, did you say?
5B. All right, got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, that passes. Number 4, we got public comments. Anybody wants to come up? Yeah. Give us your name and address.
My name for my first comment is Paula Larson, 5713 Linwood Boulevard. A couple of years ago, Councilmember Pugh and I were on the cemetery committee, I guess that's what we'd call it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to finish what I was trying to do, but I brought it up with our city manager. I'm wondering if the council would entertain an amendment or perhaps a new ordinance allowing graveside owners to have, right now, you're only allowed one marker, and if you happen to have somebody that's in the military service, like my dad, a pilot in the Navy, and then my husband, I have 2 cemetery, anyway, markers. And let's say I should die, I wouldn't be allowed right now to put a separate marker for myself. I'd have to get rid of my husband's, or like with my mom and dad, I'd have to get rid of my dad's. And I'm just wondering if the council would just entertain the idea of allowing 2 flat markers at each graveside. It wouldn't impact, to the best of my knowledge, it wouldn't impact Public Works, because they just mow over them, they're not upright. Okay, then I can step away and come back.
All right, thank you for that suggestion.
Paula Larson, 2316 Commerce Boulevard. About a year ago, this very night, I came up with a kind of a quasi-plan for asking the council to purchase the commercial lot that abuts my commercial building right now at 2316. At that time, I was told by the mayor that he was interested in concrete. So I'm up here a year later, and I'm going to keep coming back, if I can make it, to see if perhaps the city would be interested now in entertaining the sale of that property to me, or part of it.
Are you talking outlet B?
Yes.
Outlot B?
Yes.
Outlot.
And what do you said concrete? What does that mean?
Yeah, you said it last time, a year ago when I was up here, you know, we don't want any parks. We don't want any flowers or benches. Oh, yeah, I caught the dickens for that. But I'm just wondering, it's in the center of our town, and I know the Commons Park is too, but I'm just wondering if you would entertain that now, if I should go to work on it, and perhaps, and I'm going to bring in my son to help me. He has some great ideas. And perhaps we could come in and present formally a new idea for that property.
Yeah, if you want.
Is that okay? You would be open to listen to me?
Yeah, we're always open to listen.
Okay.
Anybody.
Thank you.
I appreciated it last time you brought it up.
Yes?
I liked the idea last year when you
Yeah.
presented it.
I have talked, this was a year ago, I had talked to the gentleman that owns the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
And we had kind of talked about splitting actually a different piece of property, so he would have entertainment places for his ice cream people to sit. My son is working on something right now with our property in the back, and perhaps this will be something we could share together to make that a happy place to be, which it already is, the ice cream shop. But if you're interested, with your permission, I'd like to come back
Yeah, come back.
with an idea.
Yeah.
You mean like another presentation?
I would
like
make
last
more
time?
of a, let's say, more, I'll call it professional looking. Mine was kind of scribbled because of
It was a
time.
concept.
Pardon me?
You came in with the concept.
I came
idea.
in only with the concept, not architectural plans. There's another property owner in that area that has his property up for sale. And maybe I could I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I might contact him and also I don't know what's going on. That's what I'm telling you. Okay?
So
Thanks.
you're thinking more of a green space, kind of, maybe?
I'm thinking of green space. I have a son that would like property there, a commercial building there with parking in the, I mean, we're already working on it, so. But I just was wondering if you'd be open to it if I came back with more of a formal plan for that space? Unless something else is going on and I won't waste my time.
I mean, you heard my comments last year.
Concrete,
No.
concrete.
You keep saying concrete.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so I think, I don't know. this is
You
a year
didn't
ago.
want flowers and
Yeah, I mean,
benches and all that
we have
kind
a park
of.
around the corner, so,
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to do some kind of development, I'd be interested to hear that, yeah.
okay.
I think what
That's
I
fine.
would be interested in seeing is something that is economic development.
Yeah.
With what, Sherry?
That's economic development. That
Yes.
either generates tax base or jobs.
Yes,
Okay.
Or housing, or
yes.
not just park benches, yeah.
You-
Or
you-
concrete, whatever I said, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you could work on that cemetery thing, or if
Yeah,
you think
well-
about it,
Yeah.
I have discussed it with our city manager already,
Okay, yep,
okay?
thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
All right, any other public comments, if anybody wants to come up? All right, hearing none. Number 5, we got presentations, utility rate study, long-term financial plan.
If you need juice, just go through that.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Layla Amin. I'm the Deputy City Manager for the City of Mound. And I'm excited to present the next phase of our utility rate study and financial management plan. I know this is going to be a really dense presentation, so I'll start at the beginning by saying if you have questions at any point, just stop me. I think it'll be easier than trying to go back. But we'll try to move through it, as efficiently as possible. So the City of Mound has been in the process of doing this utility rate study and financial management plan since the fall of 2023. You can see there's a lot of steps that you all have taken to get through this process. We started with that FMP or financial management plan in 2023, and we've added on that utility rate study. The utility rate study was something that was asked for us to do by the Public Facilities Authority as they considered our application for water treatment funding. And so we added that into the financial management plan. The most recent time that you've seen this come to you was last fall in November of 2025 when we set our water and sewer rates. But this is also how we make all of our budgetary decisions, is this financial management plan. The financial management plan helps us understand how much we should levy for taxes as well as how much our utility rates should be, given the situation where in past years we weren't raising utility rates, resulting in a deficit in our water and sewer funds. So a big part of this is ensuring the strong fiscal management of these funds and making sure that we can fund necessary improvements to the city, as well as having a nice standard tax rate that is planned well into the future. Some other components of that are really reducing our need to bond for things and becoming a little bit more self-sufficient on paying for improvements. So This is a really long journey that you guys have all been on as a council and as an organization to create a little bit better financial stability for the city. And this is just one piece of it tonight. Tonight, I'm not asking for any decisions. This is just a presentation of where we're at in this process. But want to try to kind of highlight why we're doing this as well as where it's headed. After tonight, we will see this again in late summer as we approve of an updated FMP and utility rate study. Both of those will help us set our 2027 budgets. So just for anyone who is tuning in for the very first time on this, I'm going to use a lot of acronyms this evening. So when we refer to our CIP or our capital improvement plan, that is anything physical that the city owns or purchases. So when we talk about road construction or buying a fire truck, anything that is like a physical item that we would purchase goes into that capital improvement plan, and we plan that out a decade at a time. Of course, we've referred to this already, our FMP or our financial management plan. That is that large overall plan that helps us guide our decision-making processes financially. I'm going to refer to the PFA a few times. The Public Facilities Authority is who can help cities either through grants or through low-interest loans finance large projects. A lot of cities go to the Public Facilities Authority for water treatment plants specifically. And then, of course, again, that utility rate study or URS, that is the study that we've done over the last few years to understand how much we will raise utility rates to help us get out of that deficit on top of what those utility rates would need to be if we were to fund a water treatment plant, which is our next acronym, WTP. You'll see this a lot. That's our water treatment plant. Finally, Ellers' name is on the slide. Kyle from Ellers is here as well to answer any more detailed questions that I can't answer for you. But Ellers is who has done this work for us. They are a municipal financial advisor, and they've been on this journey with the city alongside of us. The next thing that I wanted to talk about before we dive into these numbers is why are we talking about a water treatment plant? We did learn several years ago that Mound water is quite high in manganese. Residents who are watching this presentation and yourselves as council members will remember that in March we did the State of the Water on March 10th, which has a much longer presentation on the quality of water here in Mound. But a water treatment plant would remove manganese alongside other iron and contaminants. This helps preserve and protect our private infrastructure. So both your at-home toilets, so your sinks and your pipes, because of those high levels of contamination from iron and other things, as well as our city utilities. We see, those impacts from that contaminated water in the lifespan and life cycle of the pipes underneath our roads. We've begun some of this work, so we have that 2026 construction project actually began staging last week in the neighborhoods around Sorbo Park where our water tower is. So you're starting to see the upsizing of our pipes in preparation for doing a water treatment plant should we choose to do that. So that's tied into that larger water tower project where we're repainting and recoating the water tower, as well as upsizing our water mains and replacing some of those water services. That work is about $12 million of work that has been 100% funded through state and federal tax dollars. So when we talk about the total project cost for a water treatment plant, we talk about it inclusive of that construction cost work that is being done this summer and fall. I'm going to pause in case anyone has any questions about this current construction project.
So the 12 million is actually from the 12.3 million we've already received from state and federal funds?
Yes, Councilmember McEnany, the project that we're doing this year is that cost, and that is what those funds are helping us reimburse.
Thank you.
Yep. Great. All right. So as I said, we've been on the journey of this utility rate study for a while. This current part of the project has been broken into two phases. Again, we completed that first phase in 2025 when we set our 2026 utility rate studies. Our 2026 utility rates. That accounted for our changes in that CIP, those capital improvements, consumption of water, and then our Met Council charges. Helped bridge that gap between where we were in rates and where we might need to go if we were to build a water treatment plant. And again, set those water and sewer rates. So phase 2, which is what we're going to talk through tonight, analyzes that funding scenario for a water treatment plant. It accounts for franchise fees and then helps us plan for a final update of that FMP later this fall. So I'm not going to get into the FMP component of this tonight, only the utility rate component. So as we talk about what this might look like for constructing a water treatment plant, what we're going to present tonight is the most conservative approach. Obviously, everyone in the council knows that we have been asking the legislature for bonding dollars, but it's very uncertain to us what we would receive in terms of bonding dollars. We've had great conversations with our legislators. Some of our members have talked to them directly. Mayor Holt and Member Pugh went to City Day on the Hill, and they were alongside many cities who are bringing up similar water concerns. And being one of many cities with these problems is a challenge because there's limited funds. And so we expect that the legislative session will conclude mid-May, and we'll know then what the bonding outlook will look like for cities. We've gotten signaled that we should expect to receive some money, but that is all dependent on everyone agreeing on a bonding bill. And so tonight we're showing a scenario that does not include bonding dollars. So anything that you're going to see tonight could be reduced. The cost could be reduced should we get the $15 million we asked for, should we get less than $15 million. But we want to present to you what would be the scenario without that additional funding from the state. What this scenario also includes is that increase in franchise fees every other year from 2027 to 2031. Franchise fees are that fee that comes on utility bills, gas and electric bills, which will generate an additional $5.4 million in revenue over the course of those years. We're also planning for $3 million of a grant from the Public Facilities Authority. We're going to talk about both a grant and a loan from the Public Facilities Authority, but we are making that assumption that we would get that $3 million from them. So we have a lot of moving pieces here, but again, I think we've made a fairly conservative path forward that would likely change. I'm going to preview that this is a very, something that is likely going to have additional information, whether that additional information is that we did not get bonding dollars or that we did, or that loan rates change, interest rates change. There are a lot of factors here, and so this will come again before the council later this summer, where we'll have sort of those final numbers and scenarios buttoned up. But we are working with a couple of assumptions. So cost in terms of water treatment. So as we mentioned, that $12 million of site preparation that's happening this year, 2026, is underway, and that is what we've used state and federal funding sources for to date. That leaves about $30 million on the construction of the actual water treatment plant itself. So to get ready for the water treatment plant, we needed to spend $12 million, which we have spent and was fully funded. And so what we're really talking about tonight in terms of the utility rate study is that $30 million. That $30 million is is an estimate that we've received from Bolton and Mink. It could be lower than that. It could be slightly higher than that. What we've seen from other communities is that bids are coming in quite fairly, so we don't expect it to go above that $30 million. So the funding stack for this, again, we are talking about it holistically as $42 million. We've already received 12. We again are making that assumption that we are going to receive that $3 million from the PFA. And then the gap that we are planning to bridge that with is through a PFA loan. So these are low interest loans that are provided to us through the PFA. that would help us bridge that gap, but we do obviously need to pay that back. Before I move on, does anyone have any questions about the cost and the funding stack here?
You talk about the term of the loan and the interest rate of the loan that we're thinking about.
Yeah, Mayor Holt, that's a great call out. So right now, what you're gonna see in front of you is a funding scenario that is a 20-year loan length at about 2% interest rate. We will not know until we have bids on the construction costs how long of a term the PFA would offer us and how low of an interest rate. So those are some more variables that could bring down the monthly or annual cost of this to taxpayers. Is that if we're able to extend this over 30 years rather than 20 years, obviously that's a really big change in how much that would cost monthly or annually, as well as the interest rate has a similar calculation, more similar to a grant program than like when we bond for money. They're basing it based off of like our annual income, how much the project costs, and some other factors that are at the authority of the PFA. So we may be able to reduce that from 2% to 1%. Some of those variables we just won't know again until we get a little bit later into the construction costs of the project. All right. So one question that we receive a lot is my water bill going to go up? And the reality is even if we don't build a water treatment plant, water bills will need to rise. And I think this is just an important level setting that I want to do with each of you and also with your constituents is that right now we exist in a cash deficit in the water fund. The only way to get out of this deficit is to raise water bills. We need to infuse this fund into having our target cash. And so regardless, like the stage that we're setting for this, whether we do a water treatment plant or not, is that water rates will rise. The question is how much and what do we get for that rate rise, right? So if we do nothing, residents will still pay more. If residents are willing to pay slightly more and the council is willing to pay slightly more, we will also get a water treatment plant out of that. So these are our projected cash balances up to 2033. Our target cash is achieved in 2033 where we're a positive, and then we also have some nice reserves in this fund. We also have no planned debt issuance after 2029. So this is, only a few years away. We're going to be in a place where we won't be issuing any more debt for city projects. It's a big passion of this council is to get away from having to bond for road construction projects and other things. So kind of pending that we have no big, natural disasters or big issues, we won't need to have any more debt once we get past this project and the street reconstruction projects that we have planned. So what do water rate increases look like on a percentage? Again, we do expect to have those increases for the next several years. In a no water treatment plant scenario in 2030, those level off to a much more similar year-to-year increase at 3%. If we need to take out a $27 million loan for a water treatment plant, we do have a slightly higher increase year-to-year. I think this is sort of not helpful. It's at a whole, it's helpful to see what those percentages look like, but I'd like to break it down by what that's going to look like annually and monthly, because I think it gives a little bit better picture of how that's going to impact residents. So right now we have kind of the three scenarios, what it is currently in 2026, what it will be in 2027 even if we don't build a water treatment plant and we continue to follow the FMP, and then what it will look like in 2027 should we invest in that water treatment plant. The overall increase between what we plan to target for increases and what we would need to should we do the water treatment plant is $98 versus $166 annually. Monthly, that looks like about $8.16. Regardless, if we don't build a water treatment plant, but should we move forward with their water treatment plant, a medium volume user is going to see about a $13 increase per month. I wanted to break this down, and this is how I broke it down in the packet as well, because I think it can be really valuable to understand as the water bill increases, how much of that increase is dedicated to the water treatment plant. And it's a very small amount. So if we take just that $13 increase in the water treatment plant scenario, that $13 increase is spread across both the water bill and your other utilities. So you'll see an additional $4 in franchise fees on your gas and electric bills, and then a $9.83 increase on your water bill. So of the franchise fees, most of them are going to fund that water treatment plant, so $3.59. And then of that $9.83 increase, only $2 is what's going to fund the water treatment plant. And so, you know, again, we're going to see that $8 increase no matter what, but when we add an additional $5 of cost, it's a very small proportion that is going to fund that water treatment plant. And what I want to kind of call out is that a lot of our household solutions, softening, reverse osmosis, purchasing water bottles, right? A case of water is anywhere between $3.50 and $8. If you're doing that really regularly, this is going to be a much cheaper solution, is that smaller increase every month. I know that residential is the piece that people are probably the most concerned about the impact on, so I want to stop here and answer any questions before I talk about multifamily and commercial.
Council, any questions?
Just on the previous slide where it says medium user, 14,000 gallons, that's largely like what percent of our residents? Is that like?
Off the cuff, I could give you a guess, but I have to look back at all the user
Okay,
data.
because I think it was very, very large
Yeah,
cross
it's
section.
a significant portion, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
I think it's fair to say
51%.
50% of your users are at that or below that
Okay,
usage.
okay,
I'm comfortable saying that, but the number's probably higher than 50%.
okay, just curious.
So,
Any other questions?
I'm just curious, yes, on the franchise fees, what are we currently using that money for? Because, I mean, this is based on moving a lot of the income from the franchise fees over to pay for the water treatment plant, which seems like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well,
So
yeah, go ahead.
I apologize, you can take it if you want to, Mayor Holt.
You go and then I'll add on.
Yeah, so Councilmember Herrick, what we're actually doing is increasing franchise fees to pay for the water treatment
So
plant.
it's just the increase, not the entire amount. of
Correct.
franchise fees.
The existing use of the franchise fees to pay for debt service and to help build up that capital reserves will continue. This is the increase, and that's why you're seeing that this vast majority of that $3.59 is going to the water treatment plant.
And that is a flat fee, not a prorated based on usage.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to talk about our franchise fees compared to like average cities?
Yeah, members of the council, Mayor Holt brings a good question, which is that Mound franchise fees are quite low compared to neighboring communities. I think over the course of this plan from 2027 to 2033, you get on par with some of your area communities and some of the communities who are using this funds to do street reconstruction and what, all of the things that franchise fees are meant to be used for. I think right now we're low compared to our neighbors.
This is maybe, I don't know if you're paying attention back then, or maybe you were on council, I can't remember, but I think you originally looked at this, Councilmember Castellano, and we didn't raise them for.
They were like 25, so it was like.
It was a long
quarter.
time. We were just stagnant, and
Since 2018, at least, it says here.
I don't, God, it was even more than that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a long time.
Yeah.
And even if we did, maybe it was just so minimal that we were just way behind everybody. And again, remember, we are pulling out of different pockets. We've talked about that. We've put it on, I think every time we talk about this thing, we're saying, when we talk about money, yes, we get it. It's on your Xcel Energy and your CenterPoint bill versus your water bill. The big thing with me and what I've heard over the last 5 years is don't increase my water bill more than I can handle, right? That's what people are very worried about. So, yes, you're still paying it, whether it's this bill or that bill. Yes, you're still going to be paying it. And that's why we're trying to put it on here to show people, yes, you are paying $13.83. It's coming out of two different pockets. Still coming from your pocket, but it's coming basically three different bills, your water bill, CenterPoint, and Excel.
Well, and at the risk of being redundant, we have brought up, we were sort of left in this position to have to go this route because the fees were kept artificially low for years, and we were always going to end up in this problem area. So we've been trying best we can to keep this as affordable as possible. But we were going to be crashing down regardless because this was not addressed properly. It was kind of recklessly done years ago to leave us in this precarious position.
I think was it 17, the residents came out and said, my water bill's too high.
Yep.
They moved it
So
down
they said,
20%.
fine, Yeah.
Well, then we reduced the stormwater bill,
Right.
like 90% or something, and that was what had kind of prompted me to look into the franchise fee thing, was that we were using it, like the franchise fees are just unrestricted money.
Yeah.
We can use them to put into the general fund or anywhere, and we were gonna use it towards the sewer and stormwater fund to get those in a better position too, quicker.
But I like that we're being transparent about this because most residents feel that franchise fees are kind of have fun money, and do whatever
Yeah.
they want without being transparent about it. So I think we're approaching it really well, so the residents do understand where it's going.
Can you go back to the sliding scale of the debt over the years and then how we're going to get out of debt? And yeah. So again, to your point earlier, and this has been going on for, since I've been mayor, I guess, I think all of us decided, and Paula, decided we need to kind of get out of the hole here. And because the hole kept going down and down and down. And I remember when we passed was it 2021 or 2022, whatever the budget was, where we put the levy up quite a lot higher than, we've done in the past. And that was to, as you can see, to make the turn. So now we made the turn, now we're starting to come back up. We're still in the hole quite a bit and gonna be that way. Let's just say if we don't do this, even if you say no water treatment plant and not getting out of debt, that's a whole nother problem, right? This is just assuming, hey, we're still gonna keep raising, the water bill rates, unfortunately, because we have to get this right-sized. But even if we said, well, say there's three options on there, the option is don't even do that and just stay stagnant, you're just leaving the city exposed, down the road. And because of our promptness on this and looking forward and doing a financial plan and working with Ellers, our debt rating has been better. Was it AA minus?
AA
Plus.
AA plus, it's pretty good. I can't remember the exact numbers, but because of the better rating, we, save money when we do bonding. So I remember it was a good chunk. Can't remember the exact number, so I don't want to say it, but, so getting out of debt is important. We're cognizant of people's water bill, because that's the first thing I said here when I came to this town, is like, what the hell is this? This water bill is insane. I came from St. Michael Albertville, and they have a JPA up there, and it was a third of the cost of our water bill, and this is from 2016. So we've gone up since 2016, and then we went down in 17, and then we, slowly kind of are kind of getting back up. I don't even know if we're back. We might just be over when they lowered it back in 17. So.
Well, our projected goal to be completely in great shape is 2027, wasn't it, initially?
I think it was originally 2030 or 31, and now it's looking like 2029 we break even, basically.
Yeah.
It's still not a healthy balance, but it's still, at least,
It's not negative.
Yeah, and, unfortunately, we all got to say, well, how did we get there? Well, unfortunately, we had to raise prices, raise the fees. You all got to pay for it. We could just say, we're not doing it, and we're just going to stay in the hole forever, and we can do that. But I don't think that's, fiscally responsible to do as our city, so, go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor Holt, I think those are all extremely good points around and Member McEnany, like, this is a situation you all have inherited that you're working to get out of, and that requires some really challenging decisions that you have been making since 2023, which is the purpose of the FMP, was to try to figure out how do we get cash positive in these funds, how do we stop issuing debt, how do we, steward the taxpayer dollar in a way that allows us to complete the necessary projects. Projects continue happening. We will always need to be doing something to our roads or to other infrastructure. But, you guys have been put into a really challenging position that this is helping you all get out of. What I wanted to add too is that we're talking about the water bill because we believe that all water users should fund these improvements. So there are other mechanisms for us to pay for this. That primary mechanism is property tax levies. The challenge with using the property tax levy to fund this treatment plant is that a lot of our larger users are users who don't pay property taxes. And so that is why we're talking about this through the water bill, is because we want everyone who uses water, even if they don't pay property taxes, to help us fund this infrastructure. So I think that's a really incredibly responsible choice you all are making, is to say everyone who uses water helps us fund this water treatment plant. But, I think what we're really talking about here is $5. I think that you all, my understanding is that all of you are in agreement that this no water treatment scenario has to happen no matter what, right? That's what has to get us to that cash positive balance by 2033 and our target cash. And so what we're really talking about for this presentation is that additional $5, the jump between $816 and $1383, is that $5 what the city wants to spend per residential household to get us to a water treatment plant. Which is why I wanted to sort of show this breakdown again, right, is when we talk about $5, $2 coming from water bills, $3.50 coming from franchise fees, is that the decision this council wants to make in a scenario where we receive no additional funds from state or federal sources.
And again, if we get 15 million, hypothetically, cut these numbers in half, basically, right? And the reason why we wanted to present this is we want to show here's the worst case scenario, assuming we get nothing, no more. We are assuming the 3 million, and then we also said 20 year instead of 30. Again, if we can get a 30, I think we're going 30.
And this is based on a 2% rate.
So it's 2%, and there's been talk of a 30 at 1.
Yeah.
If we can get 30 at 1, we're taking 30 at 1.
All right.
So again, is it worst case? Yeah, maybe we're, whatever, right? The details, maybe there's a little bit leeway one way or the other, but it's pretty much what we thought would be the worst case scenario. And, if we get a couple million from the state, great. If we get 15, great, even better. They told us not to apply for 30 because they weren't going to give us 30. So that's why we applied for 15. Hopefully we only got 10 the first time. So call your legislators, help us out. At our open house, a few people came up to me and they really wanted to hear the update on this, and they really want it. I've only heard people that are very passionate about when are we getting this done and why is it taking so long? This is, taking a long time. And they said, well, what else can we do? And I said, well, I just sent a letter. I text them all the time, I'm talking about our legislators. Text or call or email the people on the chair, as well as, or maybe there's chairs right now. Anybody on the committee, the morning. We were just talking before the meeting that, they don't even have to pass a budget this year.
Right.
That doesn't mean maybe they don't even pass a bonding bill, and then we're sitting here one more year. I really wanted to do this last year, and I really wanted to talk about this last year and just make a decision and move on. And just, again, as you could see, make a decision, a hard decision, to just take it on ourselves and be done with it. And I was, to my judgment, better or worse, we waited. And hopefully it's better and we get this money, and then, Because, again, cost of waiting even longer is then things just keep going up and up and up. So hopefully we get something. Continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I move on, do we have any other questions about kind of this cost breakdown and that $5 that we're talking about between where we will be no matter what and where we might be over the water treatment plant?
So go one more behind this, the previous
Yeah.
one. Again, we want to make it a point that it's 2026 is what you are paying right now if you're doing 14,000 gallons. So if you're doing 15, 20, 30, right, you're going to be paying more because it's based on gallons. That's the medium, that's a good chunk, again, like you said, over 50%. I think it's quite a bit over that, but remember, it's 26 versus 27. So 27, we're going up 8 no matter what, unless we all decide to reverse on that. And then do we want to go up 13, Again, we don't have to make this decision tonight. We just wanted to, we've been working on this behind the scenes for months, and we just wanted to bring it, because we said we would, bring it back to you guys so you have information and we can start getting it out to the public. So when we do make a decision this summer, whenever that is, and hopefully we know the answer of the 15 million or whatever we get in the next couple weeks. I think we got, 3 weeks left or something? So we'll know then, and then we can start planning.
Yeah.
And again, in my thought, I want to go out for bid in the summer sometime, July, August, June, whenever we can get this thing together. That doesn't mean we're approving it, but we go out to bid, and then we bring it back in the fall whenever they bid it out, and then that's when we make the hard decision of do we move forward on our own. Now, obviously, if you go out to bid, you'd probably want to be pretty serious about it. But.
Yeah, so once we go out to bid, we can no longer ask for assistance.
I mean, technically,
Additional
should we
funding.
be doing this right now? Not really. We're begging for money, right? So, but it's a lot of money, right? I mean, times all the people in Mound, times, it doesn't sound like a lot, it's $5 per month, times 12, right? I mean, it's money, it's a lot of money. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, we gotta look like we need really a lot of help, and we do.
If we're going to go forward with this, I want to make sure that we're very clear with the assumptions that we made to get to this number.
Yeah, it's all in there, yeah.
Well, it's not right now, so that's what I'm saying.
It's in the whole
But
presentation,
depending upon
yes.
what we present to the public,
Mhm.
if we're just going to present a chart like this, I would like to see the assumptions.
When we do the final thing, we'll go through this whole thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and council members, what we haven't gotten to until we got to this point, right, with a little bit firmer numbers and understanding what we would present to you, we haven't started planning the communication strategy on what that will look like. With full transparency, when we met with the financial committee, Mayor Holt and Councilmember Castellano, we presented 2 scenarios, which was the $12 million scenario. So should we get $15 million from the state, we might be only taking a $12 million loan. And, we discussed that as a team and with Ellers, our financial consultant, and decided that we'd rather take the more conservative approach here and say the worst case scenario, right, the most that we would spend as an organization would be this $27 million. So we didn't want to muddy how many numbers we're getting thrown at residents when there's a very good chance that we don't end up with the funds from the state. And so as we kind of know more, we'll continue to develop a robust communication strategy around how did we get to this number, what does that cost look like, and how does that impact residents and when. And I think, again, one thing that I want to make sure is clear to residents is even if we don't do a water treatment plant, the path we're on is one where water rates will increase. And so is what residents, want and is what the council wants to increase it to be able to get us over that water treatment hump, to kill the water conversation long term, because we're treating our water, and that's going to significantly improve water and improve, people's pipes, people's toilets. We have at City Hall a picture of someone's, rusty toilet hanging up in a, as a photo, because we know that this is something that residents deal with, is all of the outcomes, not just the taste of water or the look of water, but the way that it, transforms their toilets and sinks and tubs. So I plan to bring a communications conversation to the council in May, and we can talk a little bit about our strategy for this as well at that point. But overall, I think that that's a great call. Councilmember Herrick is really making sure that residents understand the path of how we got here.
And I know I'm over 14,000. My kids take a lot of showers or something. And so I know mine is
That
not
age,
5.
for sure.
Right. Mine might be 10, or mine might be 8, or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, again, I think it's an no-brainer. The other thing too is, wasn't it $40 when we started talking about this a long time ago? We were thinking like $40 a month is kind of the number.
Yes, yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah, I remember when we looked at both of these scenarios, we were like, wow, this is,
We just thought this is a lot better than we thought.
Yeah.
Again, it's thanks, to you and Ellers, for doing all this, but, and again, I know you're gonna keep going with commercial and
And the number, like-
again, maybe we'd wanna say like a low user at, 10,000 of, 14, and here's a high user at 20. And by the way, in Mound, you're whatever percent, you're, 70% are these, and, like I might be the top 10% of water users or whatever, if you water your lawn all the time, or, maybe we can kind of break it down. We could even say, here's a picture of your water bill when you I just got mine today, right? Here's where you see how many gallons you are. I should have looked at it before I came, but here's your 14. Oh, no, I'm 20. Okay, well, it's not 5 for you. It's, 7 or 8.
Yeah, and Mayor Holt, that's a good call, that we can pull all the classes and see what percentage each, is it 50% that's a medium user and 20% that's a low volume user, and put that together, as well as some instructions for how residents can understand, where they find that information. We want all of this to be available to residents. When people come up to the front counter, they call me and they ask me about their water bill, I always tell them, I'm the deputy city manager, you can always call me, you can ask me any question. Every month, if you're confused about your water bill, you can call me. So we really do try to provide that exceptional customer service to people when they have confusion about their water bill. We got a lot of it when 2026 rates hit. People are pretty understanding, and we do get a lot of questions about, when the water treatment plant is going to be built. So we can work to put together a really robust communication strategy for that over the summer, so that people understand the choice that's in front of you later this summer.
We talked about doing like a one-page, you've been doing amazing, maybe it's you, whoever does this, you've been doing really good marketing materials, right? So if we explain this on a one-page, easy to understand, here's our problem, why are we doing this in the first place? It's been an ongoing thing, manganese, rusty water, right? And then boom, 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 here's what the impact is, how you're paying for it.
Yeah.
By the way, final decision, we're gonna be talking about this blank in the summer, whenever. And we'll throw it out on social. The next newsletter would be August, right? Maybe we could, depending on when we get this all done, maybe we can up the newsletter a couple weeks or a month, so residents can see that too, if they want to come out to that meeting. We did that last year and 7 people showed up, so you never know.
I think it would be really nice, and maybe you're already doing this, Brian, but with all of everything going on down at Evergreen, at Sorbo, if you could put a code, that would take people directly to all of our explanations on the website, which would be really helpful.
Yeah. Councilmember McEnany, in the park right now, there is a QR code. So if you walk past the park, there's a big sign that has some, really beautiful information, well designed, and then a QR code that brings people right to that page.
Good. And which again makes it even more important to keep that constantly updated.
So I live in the neighborhood right
Yeah.
next to it, right? And I see it every day when I drive by. And there's a lot of action going on over there. You guys are busy.
Yeah.
And it's good, I'm glad. Second, the weight restriction went off. You guys are just getting all your crap over there. It's good, because I want to get this done. Get in and get out. Remember what they're doing is they're taking certain sections of the road, they're opening them up, and they're, tunneling or whatever you call it, right?
Trenchless.
Trenchless. So, the whole street's not gonna be torn up, but we are, having certain sections. Yes, we're kind of trying to say, hey, stay at the road so these guys can work. They're hooking up water. I know you got hooked up water, a couple years ago, right? I know that's not fun, but that's what we're doing, so you still have water. So there's a lot of blue pipes everywhere, and some are in your front yard and across your driveway. I mean, it's a lot, but it's something we gotta do. I mean, there's no way we're gonna get through this. I mean, we gotta do it.
It's actually pretty impressive. I mean, it's like one big gigantic jigsaw puzzle going the whole way
Right.
down Evergreen, and then down the hill to Beechwood down there. So good work.
So when will the construction on the main road out here on Bartlett Is it changing the names? But
Yeah, Councilmember Herrick, I think we could give you a little bit more information on when that's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks. You know, we have the phases planned, but, you know, obviously a lot of what we were thinking depended on, you know, when road restrictions would come off, the testing of the temporary water lines, so that takes, you know, several days, and then people will be able to actually use that temporary water. Right now, that has been tested once, but is not ready for use for residents yet. So I think in the next council weekly update, we can give you a little bit better sense of when Bartlett will be under construction. And then I'm currently building out kind of an FAQ and some updated information on the website as well.
yeah, I would hope that, you know, based on the conversations that happened prior to this, that we would get that started as soon as we can, so we're not really in the thick of it in the middle of July. So we can get Bartlett up and running as quickly as possible.
When we've shared like the Hennepin County road closures or, you know, and then, you know, thank God that we started social. Seriously, that's how you get information out. And people in the past didn't want to do it. Anyway, seriously. But I'm glad that we put stuff out there and people go, you know, I know you get the haters, whatever, on there, but at least now the information's out, right? So if you, you know, create that one page, and I know you at the open house had the, you know, beautiful map, and it said, you know, here's where we're at right now, Sorrel Park, right? And then next phase is gonna be here, and it was coded by the month or the week or whatever it was. You know, if we can kind of copy and paste that into something, throw it on social, hey, this is happening, because that's, you know, live right up there. By the way, if you want even more than this, go on our website. We should, you know, I think that's a good thing, especially the people, even in the neighborhood. My son was out selling football pancake breakfast tickets tonight, and he came home and he said one of the residents, you know, in our neighborhood was, you know, saying something. And I'm like, oh, well, again, even they were older, so are they going to QR code thing? Probably not. So I know there's maybe some information on there, but, you know, it's hard. That was one of the questions at the open house too. Someone came up to me and they're saying something about, it was about water, but it was a different way with water, what they're talking about. But they said, you know, why don't you guys ever talk about this, and this? And I said, you don't understand. We talk about this stuff all the time. I mean, nobody comes and watches our 3-hour meetings because they're boring. But we got to push as much as we can. But it's hard because people you have to eat it on the other side. And if they're not going to eat it, well then we can push it all day. We can watch our videos. We can throw it in a newsletter. We talk about water, 10 out of the last 12 newsletters. But at the end of the day, if you're not reading it, you know, so the more we push, the better. But
Well, and generally, people don't really respond until it affects them. You
Right,
know, that's
yeah.
when they come knocking on the door.
exactly. So I think we're doing our part. One of the things I wanted to do on our council is communicate better. And I think we just did an open house, right? Here's your chance to come to the open house. We put a sign at the main, right in front of our main sign coming into the town. We threw it on social. We did a campaign to try to get people to come, right, on social. It's you know, we can do more down the road. You know, we're hopefully do this every year. But at the end of the day, you got to show up or you got to read our website. And I don't think I've ever read a city website before I was on council. So I get it. I get that it's hard to just digest the information if you don't want to even go for it. So anyway, let's keep going.
There is a big feature on construction and on the water treatment plant in the next newsletter that should hit mailboxes sometime this week. So if you haven't already gotten it, that will come in everyone's mailbox. So moving on, what I have, the rest of this is probably less impactful for all of you, but we do break this down by every user class. So again, our multifamily units, I think this is probably more helpful in this context, which is, you know, we're talking about $1.24 per unit in multifamily buildings. So this is modeled over a building that has 12 units in it. Again, $3.58 per unit on those franchise fees. So again, this is a multi-unit building that has 12 units in it is going to see that $120 increase. And then the commercial impact, a little bit smaller at $65. Again, it is going to have that increase to $43. The question here is, right, that additional $20-ish here. Again, a medium volume user here. And that is going to break down slightly differently, where about $11 of that water bill increase goes to the water treatment plant. And just under $11 of franchise fees goes to the water treatment plant. So the scale's really different once we start talking about multifamily and commercial users. Just gets a little bit more complicated, especially with franchise fees, because they also pay utility bills slightly differently, but still contributing on those as well. And so this is where, again, I just want to, reiterate, why are we talking about water bills and not property taxes? This is why, is we want those commercial users, churches, schools, nonprofits who don't pay us that sales tax to also help participate in improving our water infrastructure. So what happens next? By June, we'll know if we're awarded state bonding dollars. We may know that sooner. Obviously, it just really depends on the legislative session. And then at some point in July and August, we'll present, this was again just that URS, the utility rate study. In the late summer, we'll also talk about the FMP as we start to talk about the budget for 2027. So both of those things will come back to the council at the end of the summer. So I know we've talked a lot. Any last questions on this?
Just one more comment, I think I already said this, but, so again, say we find out in the next couple weeks in May-ish, right? But hopefully by June, if we get money or not. So if we don't, or if we do, whatever, we'll redo these numbers. And then the plan is, again, mark it or throw it out there to the public, throw it on the website, say, hey, go look at the website, like all the stuff we just talked about, try to get the news out. Potentially even put in the next newsletter, maybe we bump it a month and throw it out in July or something. If we do a meeting in August and, go out for bid. But again, the thought is July or August, we'd have that other meeting where we would, request basically to go out to bid. And that doesn't mean we're approving it, but it also is a pretty strong indication of interest that we're not gonna just waste time saying, hey, we're gonna go out to bid. But at the end of the day, when it comes back and we finally see, here's the bid, right? Like we do for every other project, just because we go out to bid doesn't mean you gotta do it. And then we get the bids back, and I think, was it Minitrust said they just came back and they had a more favorable number on their treatment plant, their new one. I don't know what the rest of the state is looking like for numbers, but let's just say we're ballpark of what we're talking about, great. Then we'll update the numbers, and if we, at that point, once we get the bid back in the early fall or whatever, they get that back, then that'd be like the final. Make a final decision, are we moving forward or not? I'd imagine when we're doing that, we'd, invite the public to talk. Would there have to be a public comment, or we would do it anyway, I'm sure, but.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have to be a public hearing.
Okay, but we would let people come and talk about it, obviously.
Yeah, and Mayor, members of the council, one thing that we could do, should we get bonding dollars, is just bring this presentation back, and I could give it again with that $12 million scenario, or whatever, if we get 15, if we get 8, if we get 3, any of that helps us, and so we can always bring this presentation back and do just a run through of the numbers with that updated information, so.
I mean, I'd rather err on too much information, pounding it in, than people saying we never heard about it. And it's like, we've been talking about this for almost 4 years. So, yes, thank you. And
I
this
agree.
was really well done too, thank you.
Yeah,
for
good
putting
job,
this
both of you,
together.
yeah, very good.
Ellers and Layla.
Thank you.
All right, number 6, we're going to consent agenda. Does someone want to read those 3 items? Since you're back,
Kevin,
you're the guy.
Councilmember Castellano, we missed your last.
I don't know if I can
We
still do it.
had a whole bunch of agenda
I
items.
don't know if I know how to do it anymore. All right, consent agenda items, just A through C. A, approve minutes from the April 14th regular meeting. B, check registry for February and March 2026. And then C, MCES 2023 influx and infiltration grant program reimbursement.
All right, does council have any questions or want to pull any of those? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Herrick.
Aye.
Councilmember McEnany.
Aye.
Councilmember Pugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Castellano.
Aye.
Mayor Holt.
Aye. All right, all that passes, thank you. Number 7, public hearings, we have none. Number 8, old business, we have none. Number 9, new business. A, we got purchasing card program policy by Urban.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Holt, members of the council. I'm Lindsay Erdman, the finance director, and I'm here to speak with you tonight about the purchasing card program policy, which is an update to our current policy, the credit card purchasing policy. So for our agenda this evening, I'll do some background on how the current process at the city works, and then we'll talk about why we're changing this policy or proposing to change it, and then we'll go through each section and the reviews that have been made. So for background and how things currently work, city employees who have a purchasing credit card or a P card make a purchase. They take that receipt and they just submit it as is to the accounts payable or AP clerk. The AP clerk then codes the receipt and then reconciles all receipts from that month for the city against the credit card statement to like make the payment, and then I approve the payment with like the bank data and like what our Banyan, our accounting system, is telling us. So you can see in this process that there's not a lot of internal controls because the employee is submitting right to AP, and that department head isn't looking over the purchase to make sure it's in line with public purpose doctrine or other city policies. And so I'll get into why that is a big reason and main driver for making this policy change. So we're switching from Elon Financial Services to US Bank to facilitate the P card. In the policy, it currently says Wells Fargo, and we're just not sure why. But we do use Elon Financial Services right now. And so switching from Elon to US Bank will allow us to be much more electronic-based to improve from an efficiency perspective and apply more internal controls. And at the end of the presentation, I'll just kind of go through what a new proposed process would look like if this policy is adopted. And then the new policy will clarify allowable and non-allowable purchases as well as everyone's roles and responsibilities, and that we're moving procedures from the policy itself to a separate internal document that's maintained by staff. And that's just so that we can have, day-to-day management and make changes to it as we needed, since the council really oversees the policy rather than the procedures. I like to think of the policy as what we're doing, and the procedure is how we're going to do it. And then lastly, Mr. Landsman has helped us and reviewed this policy, and all of his changes were adopted. So the first section in the updated policy is the policy statement section. This was formerly called the purpose. And the current language is pretty limited. We really like to see in a policy statement the purpose, scope, and roles or who is involved in the policy. And so this language has been updated to describe the purpose of the program, which is really to improve business-related purchasing processes and to make payments to vendors in an efficient and cost-effective manner. The scope is for city business related allowable goods and service purchases and authorized travel, and who it pertains to is city employees. So the policy overview section is called the summary section in the current language. And some of the language from the summary section, the current section, was moved to the section I just went over and reworded to fit the new program. And so this updated section contains other current language like purchases must be made in accordance with the procurement policy and must be less than $5,000. It also refines the non-allowable purchases list, and we add on an allowable purchases list for clarity. Okay, and then we have a roles and responsibilities section, which is brand new to the policy, which clarifies who is involved and what their roles are and their duties and what they should be doing. So in this scenario, the city council is responsible for setting this policy. The city manager is responsible for implementing the policy and managing the program. Department heads are responsible for ensuring purchases are consistent with city policy, procedures, the administrative code and the public purpose doctrine. And P-card users are responsible for complying with those policies, procedures, admin code, public purpose doctrine. So if this policy were approved, this is, hypothetically what the new process would look like. So employees will be reissued new cards, and when they make a purchase, they're then responsible for uploading and coding that receipt to the U.S. Bank portal. The department head has to then review and approve each purchase. So if there's any kind of issue with the purchase, whether it's like coded incorrectly or there's questions, the department head can essentially like push the purchase back down to the employee to get more information. So we're adding that level of internal controls. And then it can, the purchase can be moved to the finance department for review and ultimately approval of payment. And then the same steps happen with bank reconciliation at the end of the month. For our procedures, as I mentioned, that language will be just moving to a separate document that will live internally to the city. And it's currently in development and will be finalized if this policy is updated. And so that is all I have for you, and can take any questions.
Does council have any questions?
Is this in response to us discussing the procurement policy a couple months ago to kind of expedite things, not get things kind of jammed up in City Hall?
So the movement from Elon to US Bank was started like kind of right when I came on board, and it was really to address the internal controls issue of making sure we're having the appropriate layers of internal controls in place.
I was gonna ask if this was kind of also, not like a response to anything, but it's probably a favorable policy to have for like our annual audit.
The
And, like,
purchasing card
yeah.
policy? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And we're getting audited right now, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
And then I'm looking for a vote. A motion to approve the updated policy.
Is there any, are we just doing that, or there's no official?
There should be,
The resolution,
Yeah, it's a resolution.
yes.
2632, page 30.
30?
Okay, sorry.
I can just use.
Oh, no, that's
I can just
not.
use our
No,
motion.
no, that's not.
I think it's just being adopted by oral motion.
Oh,
Okay, just a motion
So
to
it wasn't
approve.
in the packet.
I can do that. Are we ready to make a motion?
Yep.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve changes to FIN 005, Purchasing Card Program Policy, formerly known as Credit Card Purchasing Policy.
All right, got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, that passes. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. 9B, we got Lost Lake Commons interpretive and wayfinding signs. Bauman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm not Matt Bauman, I am Brian Simmons with Bolton & Mank, your consulting city engineer. What we have in front of you tonight, and,
Do you want me to pass it over?
yeah,
Or
do
wait.
you have, what's your preferred format for this? Because we have the pictures
Well,
put
we
on the
gotta see the
screen, and-
pictures. Why don't you
Yeah.
do your part, and then I'll just pass out after.
Sure. What we have in front of us are some interpretive and wayfinding signs that have been through a number of levels of review. Lots of work by city staff, some coordination through the park commission. Lots of input here, but I think what we put together are some very nice wayfinding and placemaking signs that are going to go into Lost Lake Commons Park. Part of the reason we're here now is that we're at that point in the park where we need to order some signs. And so we are seeking to move that forward. Yeah, Jesse, that, if you zoom that one out, there we go. Just a touch more, because there's one at the very top of the screen too. So the four that are circled in blue are the maps that we're going to show in just a second that are sort of the wayfinding signs. And then the other four that are circled in red are interpretive, and we have 4 different interpretive signs that we have examples for you in front of tonight. For anybody that's having trouble visualizing this, we've got Shoreline Drive in the upper right-hand corner, the famous Mound Farmers Market sort of up to the upper left-hand corner, and then that area, the Lost Lake, docks, the transient dockage area, I guess is the appropriate way to put it, and then the park sort of through the middle there. And then we have also, because these are kind of big and a little bit unwieldy, but Mayor Holt does have printed copies of these. I think maybe the best thing to do right here is to pause for a second, and we're going to unroll some of these in their actual sizes and formats and let you take a look at them.
Right, not this one.
Not this one? You
Not
did,
this one, this one's too big.
of course, we didn't bring this one. Okay, just kidding.
Okay, so that one's not on here.
Correct. My apologies. We spent a lot of time going through the list of all the things that was going to be on here and what isn't going to be on here. We had some back and forth about appropriateness or inappropriateness of private businesses, and ultimately landed on including the QR code, encouraging individuals to visit the City of Mound website. That gives them references to other things, hoping that that would be another good place, you know, like you guys are digging the QR codes, that could be more of a living, breathing, updated thing. And so most of what you see on here are sort of the major public draws that are sort of infrastructure kind of permanently based, if that makes sense.
Can we make comments or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
On this one, I felt that you didn't designate Surfside as a swim beach, which it's kind of major part of that park. And also, where is it? Centerview was not identified as the fishing dock.
It does say fishing pier,
Where is it?
and there's a logo.
Yeah, but it doesn't, okay.
It says fishing pier on the
Yeah,
left
that,
side.
okay.
We do, we have the icon for it, but that is true. We do call out the park actually as Centerview Beach because that is the name of it, but perhaps
Right.
that's confusing, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, and then the other question I had is, I know we talked about this, that we've had signs that say no fishing at Lost Lake. And this week I encountered two very enthusiastic young men who were heading to the docks at Lost Lake to go fishing. And I said to them, I said, I don't think you're supposed to fish there, but I don't think anyone will arrest you. But
I used to
you
tell my
know.
son, if you go down there, he goes on his bike with his backpack when he's younger. And I was like, if you fish there, I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, they're gonna say, that's Jason's kid. I said, go to the actual fishing pier.
So are we gonna ever resolve that? Are we gonna allow fishing there? Why did we?
I have no idea. This is before me. I don't care if anybody fishes there, to be honest, but for whatever reason, someone put up a no fishing sign. Maybe that's another
I
conversation.
admit to not knowing the history. However, I feel that specifically on the topic of this wayfinding sign, we are not muddying the waters there by encouraging
Okay.
fishing on the sign. So I think at least we're on the same page,
Okay.
Councilmember Pugh.
Or you wanna promote fishing, or you just wanna say, stay agnostic?
Well, I mean, it's historically, it's been a great fishing place. When the post office was there, Paula, you remember, I mean, that's where people go because the fish spawn there. So it's great
Well,
fishing.
they catch a ton of sunfish there.
I think
Yeah.
the no fishing signs were on like the end of the docks that like were, not public, like rented out slips, like some of the ones that have a little mini gate, and then I think maybe there's another sign now on the transient part, but.
Yeah, I could see like don't fish off the transient dock
Yeah.
part,
Yeah.
but there's like that stairway that goes into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where everybody fishes, and I don't know, maybe that's a discussion for another time, but
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody cares if you're a fisher, but. So you don't.
I don't
wanna-
care.
Okay,
But,
good,
you
all right.
know, but if the signs are there saying don't fish.
All right, Jesse, add that to a future discussion item, why that's legal. Not that anybody's ever gotten caught, but. All right, any other?
Oh,
It's not technically public.
Pardon me?
It's not technically a public
Okay.
hearing.
But I am on the Parks Commission, Parks and Open Spaces, and so I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll contact somebody else about what happened to the fishing ordinance on that area there.
So the intent to use the QR tag is to direct them to the website, which will house or list out all the different businesses? Is that what we're
Is there a specific
saying?
landing
Because
page
that can
we're
be
going for
updated
there?
easily, right?
Yeah, I think Councilmember Herrick, what we decided at this exact moment would be that it would just link probably to a page related to parks and amenities in the city rather than businesses, only because we don't have a full-time communication staff who could constantly update that page, you know. Not that we have a ton of business turnover, but it is, you know, work. And so, we figured that, you know, that's, everything that's on this sign as it stands is city infrastructure, city spots. And so instead directing people to more information about other things that are happening here in Mound. The QR code could be linked to a different page on our website at a future time. You know, we've talked about, you know, using a sticker to replace it at times rather than replacing the entire sign. You know, we had some solutions for the future if we did have a full-time communications person. But right now, I just don't personally have the capacity to like keep an updated business registry. But it is a long-term goal of the city.
To direct people somehow to the WCC,
Oh, yeah.
you know, who has a long list of local businesses.
More around town.
Right. I don't know if there's a way to do that practically, but it's something to consider.
Yeah, Mayor, members of the council, I think what we could do is create a page that's just kind of like around Mound, right? So something maybe
Yeah.
separately different than we have right now that would have like links to the WCC and then links to other pieces on our website, social media, stuff like that. So we can
Yeah.
create a landing page that's more specific to what's to this QR code.
And, you know, as we get up and running down there and people let us know sort of what they'd like to see, we can always sort of advance some of that. Especially with the QR code, that's the beauty.
Yeah, printed sign, digital QR code, right? Like,
Pardon me?
bringing the best of both worlds together.
Yeah, yeah.
If,
Yeah, these look nice. I love the old pictures.
it looks like everybody is maybe ready to move on past the map. So we'll dive into the first one, focused on the history. The background there, one of the old plats from Mound with a number of the, if I can help with the logistics, please say so.
No, just keep talking, yeah. Sorry,
No, it's okay.
Paper's
I
loud.
want, it's not possible, Councilmember Herrick. It's noisy. Paper's noisy.
Thank you.
Very good job.
Yes. Yep, that's why we have those printed that way, so that you can both sort of visualize and go tactile with the size. You know, we're looking for readability and legibility, things like that. So, you know,
Is it going to be
typeface
encased in, you know,
sizes.
the black metal, kind of to match everything else down there?
Don't know exactly what the,
The answer is yes.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Sorry.
you come up.
The reasons I.
Christina Brierly, Assistant City
Thank you.
Engineer.
Appreciate it.
So these will be, it'll have black frames. They'll stand about 2.5, 3 feet tall, sit at a 45-degree angle,
Good.
and they will be located around the site. Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Which creates the interactiveness
Yes.
when it's at a slant, so that'll look good, thank you. Your purpose was well needed here to explain how these will be encased. Thanks, Christina.
So first interpretive sign here focused on some sort of far history things, you know, one of the original plats of the area of Mound. There's some stuff overlaid on there. You can see the present day Lost Lake Commons shown on there, you know, Bartlett Hotel, calling out where Surfside Park is on this map. And then the whole interpretive panel on the left with some fun photos. And that picture in the upper left-hand corner is the intersection of Shoreline and Commerce. Kind of feel like that's what we make things look like when we build water mains, but I like to think we're doing a better job than that.
And these
Like-
are the approximate size?
Yes.
They are the exact size.
Exact size, and then obviously it'll be a nice,
That's
Will
what-
there
so
be
it's not gonna get
benches?
wet and get all
Will there
screwed
be
up.
So, yeah,
benches like
metal,
this?
metal encasement, that's what I was just starting to say, was I wasn't sure exactly how big the bezel is and whether or not it'll be like a waterfall, like disappearing on the sides or not. I do believe it will be visible metal, but then it'll be like an acrylic protection on top of it.
Good, so it should last a couple
Do you
years.
want to add more to that?
That's exactly what they are.
Okay.
They're just black frames on the outside,
Yeah,
and then it'll not have a frame at the top or the bottom.
Will any of them have benches so that people can sit and read?
I don't know that we had a lot of benches, I think, in the original Lost Lake Commons plan, and I know that we trimmed some of those back. I guess I want to say right now, we're not necessarily tying the interpretive sign locations to benches, but I believe the concept of benches and furniture in the park is something that we have sort of tabled for future procurement, if I recall correctly. So we have eliminated most of the permanently installed benches from the park as it sits right now.
So will these be in a protected case, but will it have some sort of sun protection?
Yeah,
I
the
mean, 'cause we have no
outer,
shade or anything over there.
sure,
so-
the upper layer will be UV treated.
Okay, so that it won't fade. and
It's
turn
in it
different
right
colors.
there. It's just like-
I'm gonna guess after a certain period of time, it eventually fades, but these are set up so they could be replaced.
Okay.
Not easily, so somebody could take it out and vandalize it, but that they could be replaced.
Okay.
So if at some point we wanted to reuse the bulk of the sign, the stand, and all those things, we could.
Aren't these just like kind of what they have in Wayzata? Isn't theirs like this?
I'm gonna say yes. I don't know that I'm accurately picturing,
Okay.
Councilmember Pugh, exactly what they have in Wayzata, but yeah.
Well, the one I'm thinking about, why is that? Because it's the one I pass every day when I'm walking into work. Theirs is like, it comes out, so like if the L is like missing, or like the W is
Oh,
missing.
yeah, it's raised, it gets
Yeah.
broken.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
actually worse, I think, because this isn't gonna do that.
Yeah,
This will be
there's-
enclosed,
Yeah.
that one's in Boss.
So they get, and then I
So
keep,
it'd be
every time I
better.
think, I was like, I gotta tell you that your W is
Yeah.
missing again.
Okay, thank you.
Another inset panel about how Mound got its name. So I don't know that there's going to be a lot of comments about these things, but this was a good time here to take a moment and sit with these things, see how they land for you all.
Well, assuming we like this, you're gonna move forward after this?
It's also part of why Christina is here, is because the contractor is ready to order these things.
Okay, so.
So
if
part of,
for some- If one of us doesn't like how we got the name, or if you don't agree, well,
you
you did
give
work
us-
with the West Tonka
Historical
Society.
Society.
to get-
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've already seen the cost of these, and have we approved the cost?
Cost, I believe, is included in the park already, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, I was pretty sure we had a line item for it, but
Yeah.
So are these in a structure, or are they just an independent standing?
they're in an independent stand.
Okay.
It's, slanted.
Is it like
Yep.
cemented in, or
Yeah, yep,
cemented in the ground? Very nice. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but permanently installed is what I
Yeah.
would call that.
yeah.
Not easy to be stolen, not easy to be vandalized.
There's that one right down on the street.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe if there's no comments on
Yeah.
that one, is everyone ready to move on? Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
The street that runs.
Another fun bird's eye view here with a handful of buildings labeled and locations.
Going down.
You know, lots of things that don't exist anymore exist in different places, like the Mound Hardware Store. Couple of inset panels here on the 3 different types of businesses. We also acknowledge here Tonka Toys. I don't know about you guys, but I personally really like the old-timey bird's eye view photos, but
Yeah.
maybe
It's
I'm
really
biased
fun.
as somebody who orders a lot of drone photos.
When it's fun because the perspective of it, you can still picture this with New Mound, because it isn't that different.
And then you can sort of see up on the very horizon in this one, Cooks Bay in the background, so you can see some of the lake too.
Yeah.
Where did you like find these pictures? Is it West Historic Society too?
Oh, man,
I mean, we have like the rights for them and all that.
So the Historical Society, right here, actually in the building, provided all of this information as well as all the photos.
Okay,
And then we took the highest quality ones
okay.
that we could.
So we have approval to use
Yep.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they needed to be reproducible as well, obviously.
Right.
If there's no comments on that one, we can keep rolling. This one's split up into the 4 panels here. History of Lost Lake, showing what that looked like a long time ago, and making it so you can visualize, where the canal and things are now. Acknowledging the Dakota Rail and the depot.
What is the font size on this little teeny, are people gonna actually be able to read this?
Well, I guess that's the whole point. Okay, do we have one of the printed out copies of this one handy for her to take a peek at?
Well, I was looking at that, but I was looking at pictures, forgive me, I wasn't.
No,
looking at
that's
the
okay.
Font size.
That's okay. I don't want there to be anything lost in
Well,
I don't.
what is the font size? You know what it is.
I actually do not know what the font size is.
Yeah.
We
That's
provide all the
reasonable.
information to our landscape architect, and our
Yeah.
landscape architect takes these to final.
Yeah, it's readable.
Okay.
It
Well,
looks
you know,
like
if you
about
call the
16,
Society for the
18.
Blind,
It's readable.
they'll tell you what's a readable. I think it's 14, and it's Anvil.
I don't think we're anywhere near quite that small. I
Yeah.
think we're doing a lot better than that, hopefully.
Good.
We have
That's
made
our
these
minimum.
fully ADA
Yeah.
compliant for both
Yeah,
sites
right.
and everything else.
Yeah, so. Got that.
Fun little mention of the streetcar boats, just acknowledging that history in our area. I think Jesse can probably keep rolling. This one, a little more on the interpretive side, more in some of the things that we do, talking about some of the features in Lost Lake Commons. You know, we've got the rain gardens and stuff there, covering how rain gardens work and how they protect the lake, the differences between the different, I'll call them BMPs, the best management practices. If I'm not throwing a bunch of engineering acronyms at you. But this is obviously a little more modern, a little more created graphics rather than the photos, but just the proximity to some of these things happening in action. Hopefully this will help the park users connect, what they see. Why is that a wet depression over there kind of thing? Well, no, that's actually a rain garden.
I love that you're doing this because people every day ask, why are we doing those stinky old water basins? So this, again, is educational, which is fantastic, that people will understand that we have to. And here's why.
Yeah, it's one more tool in our box to be good stewards of the lake,
Yes.
right?
For the
Councilmember?
report, the M34 report.
MS4?
MS4.
I knew where you were
report.
going. And I think that's it for slides, right, Jesse? It's the last
They
one.
look really nice.
So there isn't a resolution or anything. We just wanted to come before you before these get ordered because we know that there were a lot of opinions and we needed to solicit the feedback from you all to make sure that once these were committed to signs that we didn't then get feedback, so.
So do we just
We
need a
are
motion
making a motion, right?
to staff or something?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Make it official.
Yeah, you could motion to direct us to proceed with the signs. That'd be acceptable, I believe.
Okay. All right, I think that's.
Motion to move forward with the signage in Lost Lake Commons for the
Interpret that.
interpretive signs
Okay.
As presented.
as presented.
I got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
I'm just curious, we have someone from the Parks Commission here.
Can I just make one comment?
Okay, come up. We're not supposed to, but hurry.
Okay, let's go back to the first one. And I am on the Parks Commission.
I know,
Okay.
yeah.
If I'm annoying you, I'm sorry, Mayor.
No, I just want to be careful.
But I'm so old that I kind of know all this stuff. But let's go to the first thing with, keep going, keep going, keep going. And we'll talk about the fishing thing. Keep going. Where do we get our names? Where's that one with the names?
Back one more, Jesse.
How did Mound get his name? Right there?
That little
Okay,
orange
and there were
box.
4 things you were talking about, over here. Yeah, this is where I'm talking. Okay. You see, you have listed West Tonka Bays. Is this, I want to know why we're calling our town of Mound West Tonka. Second thing
Yeah.
is, you have Carmen's Bay
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Carmen's Bay is in Navarre, so I don't know why we jumped over, if we're gonna expand how we got our names, I don't know then. I think that's a red herring, Carmen's Bay. I think we should include Spring Park Bay, Emerald Bay, all the other little ones that are from here to Navarre, if you insist on using the term West Tonka. But Carmen's Bay is in Navarre. And if you're gonna use Carmen's Bay, you should add Spring Park, you should add all the rest of them. That's my personal opinion, because that's an error.
You could just remove the word West Tonka even.
But then you'd have to remove Carmen's Bay. We have Jennings, there's some Jennings Bay part of
There's a
Mound.
lot of bays. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Langdon, Halsted, Priest, Harrison, I think a small bit of Jennings,
It's not
peaks into
logical.
Mound. And then, so all you do is get rid of Carmen's and then call it Mound Bays. That's a good call,
So,
Paula.
yeah, and two.
I think it should be called Mound Bays. I know we're pushing to renaming the area West
Yeah,
Tonka.
but our town
I'm
is
just
Mound.
telling you, I know that
So
it's
that-
getting
that's a
pushed.
good call.
And I think if we want to, as you as a council, if you want to nip that in the bud, I don't think we should call it West Tonka Bays. This is Mound. And I
Mound
think-
Bays and then get rid of Carmen's,
And
which
get rid of
isn't-
Carmen's, but if you want to keep Carmen's and list the rest of them around the area, that's, that would be okay too. But Carmen's is sticking out like a red herring.
Good
here.
catch.
Okay, so did we get all the bays?
Yeah, all the rest of the
We get all the
bays are
mound
there.
bays.
Yes.
So,
And you might want to add Dutch Lake at all.
Are we trying to be comprehensive, like, if I may, Mayor?
Yeah, yeah.
Members of the council, are we trying to be comprehensive with the bays? Or are we interpreting the history and its connection to the names of the bays? I guess, is the intent there?
Well, I can't read that.
I hear the direction to remove Carmen's.
Hard to see,
And then
yeah.
that would also drive removal of the word West Tonka, because then we are focused on mound bays. But I don't know that we have history snippets for the other bay names, is kind of my concern.
Why wouldn't, well, you've got Carmen's because his sons, Frank and
Bay.
Benton, started the boat freight business between Mound and Wayzata. But again, that's not related to Mound.
and can we also verify Lake Langdon is not Langdon Lake, because I know I've seen it done different ways.
I think the real is Lake Langdon.
My suggestion would be,
I'm not
if
sure
you
about
want to
that.
keep those bays and all those lakes there, just change it to Minnetonka Bays then. But
Lake
I-
Minnetonka.
Yeah, but I thought we were trying to focus on our
Mound.
city.
I like focusing on Mound, and also if we're doing all these, should we be including Dutch Lake? If we're including Langdon?
Well, can we find out where Dutch got their name?
Ask Sherry about Dutch Lake.
Well, I don't know.
So,
Well,
I'm sure
I
they've
think
got
that
the
was a good
information.
catch. And I'm
Yeah.
saying, if we're gonna have all these, why isn't Dutch
well,
included?
Dutch isn't on the trail, as far as
Yeah.
I know, is that correct? And
Right.
it's not on the, but that's up to you guys. I mean, it just, people are, anyway, you guys decide.
No, I think that's a good catch.
In-
Thank
in-
you for
In
that.
defense of the deal here, it is related to Mound. I don't know if we were specifically doing, it says West Tonka Bays, but then it's, and their Pioneer namesakes.
Right.
So it is tied in, and again, there is a connection to Mound. So in defense of you guys' work, or whoever did this, I get it. I do agree with the West Tonka, that's a trigger word for me. I
Yeah.
would say Mound,
Yeah,
Mound Bays.
yeah.
Whether we keep Carmen or not, I don't know. It's
So
that,
you
but
would
then it
just-
doesn't count as a West. I mean,
Carmen's is not a mound bay.
I know, but does it touch at all, Mound?
Yeah, I mean, there's,
Does it
because
touch-
the
Oh, someone
son
give a
started
Google.
a first boat freight business between Mound and Wayzata in
That's the
18
tie-in.
That's the
That's the
tie-in, so
tie-in.
it
Carmen's
makes
Bay
sense.
doesn't
So
touch Mound.
you could keep it.
Yeah.
But I would still agree 100%, Paula, get rid of West Tonka and put
Just get rid of
Mound.
that, just get rid of that word.
Yeah,
West Tonka.
well, I would add Mound Bays, because the rest of them are all Mound Bays except for
Yeah,
Carmen.
I'm just, because we decided Carmen's Bay is
Well,
not.
Jennings kind of.
Carmen's Bay is not in Mound.
Yeah.
Does it touch any Mound
No.
land at all?
No,
No.
it's very small.
Very small, like it doesn't touch it?
What?
Where's Carmen?
Or you could
Oh, it's-
rephrase it to say Carmen's Bay
I don't know where.
connects. to-
Carmen's Bay is like Navarre, you know, Casco Point, kind of.
Yeah, it's a, I was gonna
That's
say,
on
it's
your
a
way down
Casco
there.
Oh,
Point
yeah.
Little Park,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
again, it depends on what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying West Tonka Bays,
That's why they.
technically that counts as a West Tonka Bay.
It doesn't count as a Mound Bay.
Does it count in Mound Bay? So if we're gonna change Mound Bay, we gotta get rid of Carmen's. If we
Okay.
keep West Tonka, or you can
I
say
agree.
Mound West Tonka Bays.
Let's do Mound Bays. It can always be changed.
Go back to
later.
Mound West Tonka instead of West Tonka.
It's Mound
I'd
Bays.
rather, it's a
Just
trigger
do
word for
Mound
me.
Bays.
Yeah, okay, so just do
Let's just do
Mound,
Mound Bays.
get rid of Carmen altogether.
Yeah.
And then do we wanna add Dutch?
Gives you more space.
I don't know if we want to add Dutch, I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, if we're saying Mound Bays, it's not a Minnetonka, but it's Mound Bays, and we have
Right.
Langdon in there, so why wouldn't we?
Right,
Well, technically Langdon is connected.
but then we'd have to figure out through
Through
the
what?
Historical Society what the info is on Dutch.
I can see if they did provide us some information on that. So everything that was written here was provided from them. And I would have assumed that if we had something from Dutch, that it would also
would've
be
been
included. Let me take a look at our research
Yeah.
and see.
I think I would just, because you fortunately brought this up,
This is the sign.
and if we're gonna make a slight change there, if we can include Dutch, if we get rid of Carmen's, you have room there.
So if I may
Just switch
clarify
to
the
that.
direction so far, I'm sorry, anybody,
No, go ahead.
after you, Kathy.
It looks like if you end up finding some information on Dutch, if we get rid of Carmen's, that won't screw up our sizing for everything, you could just replace Carmen's Bay with some Dutch information. And that'll keep your layout specific.
So,
The other thing to add on that, we don't have West Arm on there.
So
If
if
we're gonna
I'm-
name Mound Bays,
if-
West Arm is not included.
if I may, in order of priorities, delete the word West Tonka. We're all in agreement?
But put Mound there,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Replace that with Mound.
yes.
Correct.
We want to remove Carmen's Bay then as inappropriate under the list of Mound Bays.
Yep.
And then if we have appropriate historical snippets for Dutch or,
Dutch and West Arm.
and West Arm.
If we have anything that ties in, how are those, they got their name?
I can tell you that I already see a theme here is that all of the bays that we have listed are named after people. And Dutch and West Arm, I don't believe are, but
Right. I think
there's still
that's
obviously
right.
history in the
Because
area,
this is-
right?
Well,
More than over here.
then just
Yeah,
change
no, there's
Pioneer
Carmen
namesakes
is
and just say,
not, but
and
there is a
their
little teeny
ties
bit
to
extra.
how they got their name or something.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not an artist, but you could do West Tonka Bays and then continue it,
Mound Bay.
instead of go down.
And their.
Again, I'm not an artist, but that gives you more room.
And their namesakes.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
We almost approved this before.
I mean, interrupt, I know you want to get out of here, but what you could do if that's like this on there, the Jennings, Harrison, and Priest, you could maybe move one of them up to where Carmen's is, or maybe two of them up. You're gonna have enough space if you remove Carmen's Bay to put a separate one for Jennings, a separate one for Harrison, and then keep Priest Bay or something, just to fill in the
Yeah,
space, so we
yeah.
don't have.
All right, so if you can find any data on Dutch and West Arm, and then you heard what we said.
Do we need to come back in front of anyone with that? Are you okay with us taking direction and ordering the signs?
I would
Well,
say approve
maybe
it.
run it by, over to the
Jesse.
city hall, just to make sure it's accurate.
If you feel like we would
Understood.
have an issue, just let us know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you want to run it by the
That's
attorney,
a
make
great
sure.
call,
That's
Colin.
really loaded,
Thank you
Jesse.
for
Yeah.
noticing
Can
that.
we maintain the alphabetical order,
Trying to save
please?
the city money.
Yes, we can maintain the alphabet.
Well, you're trying to save the city of
Please.
Mound.
It's
and
currently
keep
in
our name,
chronological order.
Which is beautiful.
All right, we good on that?
Yes,
All right.
that's great.
Now, I have a question. When would the signs be ready?
So the answer
Well,
is
now.
our contractor actually wants to get these going and has,
Yes.
I would expect them in the next month or so. But I can't verify that until I get them back to the contractor and then he gets them over to his sub. The foundations that are not already poured will be poured in the next day or two. And then the signs are, once they're ready for printing, will be able to get printed and installed soon
Because,
after.
you know, we've never talked about a dedication of the park. And the signs could be a first dedication, even though we may have other phases coming later. I guess I personally would like to see it dedicated
Yeah, yeah.
before I leave council, because it's been dear to my heart, and so.
We'll do it
If
on
we could do
December
that this
31st.
summer. December 31st, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, do I got to pull
No,
the motion?
The motion works.
At night with
It's
flashlights, right?
up to
Edits.
Okay.
So I think there was a motion. Was there a second?
I think we got to, who did the motion?
I think Kathy made
She made the motion, who did the second?
Councilmember Pugh seconded.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
we
do
got a
we need
motion
to
and a second.
rephrase it?
I don't think so.
No.
As presented means we had discussion and,
As presented and amended, I believe.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's what we
As
said.
presented and amended.
I think we said presented and amended.
There we go.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that passes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you wholeheartedly for the feedback. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Christina, thanks for
thanks, Paul.
moving this along now that it's in your grip.
The park is actually. The park is in motion. You will see the decking come up tomorrow with the new decking going down by the end of the week. So
Oh, wow.
Great.
lights have been delivered, so they're coming in. Electrical contractor should be back in very shortly. So we're gonna hammer this out as fast as we can. Well, as efficiently as possible. I can't say as fast.
Great.
As efficiently as possible.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Don't go anywhere. Well, like in a minute, just stay here. Don't leave. Okay, council reports, Councilmember Pugh.
Well, I don't have anything really.
So you want to do a dedication though?
I want to do a dedication of the park.
So we should work with Jesse and staff and figure out a day when it's not raining to do that. And if it is, maybe have a tent or something.
Yeah,
or else, yeah, I mean,
we can create a little
just bring,
celebration.
yeah, bring your umbrellas.
Okay.
So let's work on finding a date.
Yes, we've just conferred briefly. It's gonna need to be later in the summer.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to make
Yeah.
sure we're not standing around in grass that's still growing.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, and also that road construction that's gonna be
we
kind of.
can do it like August or something,
Sure.
after Labor Day.
After Labor? Okay. So let's start thinking of a day that could work for everybody, at least the staff, and then all you guys maybe come up with a couple of days that work, and then we can, you want to do, I mean, weekends are tough, but.
Well, that's
like
what I was saying,
Yeah.
like post-Labor Day, everyone's not gone on vacation, or it's like everyone's kind of around.
Like a Wednesday night or Thursday night in September before it gets dark too early?
Yeah,
When's neighborhood night out or whatever?
That's August 5th, or whatever.
Could be.
I mean, I'm
Tied
concerned,
into
if we're
something
gonna
like
do
that.
this, we should probably wait till the plantings are in and
Yeah, yeah.
the lights are up and everything else is done.
Yeah.
End of summer.
Not come see our weeded and dusted
No.
mess.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about it,
yeah.
but we'll try to shoot for after Labor Day. Any other?
No, I don't have anything
Okay.
that I can think of, other than, Gillespie's got lots of fundraising activities going on. That's pretty much it. And Fire Commission, we haven't met. Or did we meet
Is it
last
next
week?
week?
Yeah, next Thursday.
It's,
Next-
yeah,
Oh, of course, and I'm gone, by the way. I'm not gonna be, I just emailed the chief and the other chief
okay.
and said I can't make that one. And that's just a fire commission, that's not a partnership meeting.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, so you'll be there?
okay.
Okay. Councilor Mackey?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Councilor Costello?
I don't have anything, but just a comment, unless I missed it, I think we kind of stopped getting the Harbor Wine and Spirits financial report in our packets. I don't recall seeing one from this year yet, if we can get it added back in. It was like the one page.
Yeah, I can look into that. Councilmember Castellano, members of the council. I think one challenge of that might be that we have only just closed the month of January as a
Oh,
city.
okay.
So that might be part of why you're not seeing that.
Okay.
That might also just be something that we didn't know to include in the council packet. So I can look back at that and ensure that we get that moving forward.
I think it was like just a once a month, Thanks, I don't have anything.
Councilor Hare?
No, I enjoyed the event that we had last Thursday?
Yeah.
Sorry, the days are all blurring together. Yeah, I think it was a very nice event. I wish we'd had a better turnout, but I think that'll increase each year that we do it. It was very well done, and I thank the staff for putting together everything, and I want to thank Dan from Surfside for the lovely cookies, which we inhaled.
I had my first one, it was really good.
It was very
You never had a cookie there? Oh, my God.
But yeah, it was a nice event, and hopefully we can promote it a little bit more
Yeah.
next year. And I enjoyed speaking with the police chief and the fire personnel and the people from Ellers and their presentation. And our public works group did a great job presenting what they do and how they do it. So that was kind of fun to learn and see a little bit more about how that day-to-day operation occurs. But yeah, other than that, no, I didn't have anything else to report.
I want to thank, obviously, the staff and echo everything you just said. I mean, and McEnany, thank you so much for, I know you spent a lot of time and energy on the signs, and it was just beautiful, the marketing material. Thanks to everybody that showed up and brought your pipes and all the different random things, and it's really interesting to see, all the, well, you weren't there.
No, I was there.
They had a great display. I'm sure there's pictures that you can see, but, yeah, I mean, it was a lot of, staff and a few of us doing a lot of work, so appreciate it. I don't know, can I say who the new police chief is yet, or no? Is it public yet? No, okay.
I believe it is.
Anyway, we had our interviews for the police chief. We picked someone, should come out very soon. So I think everybody will be happy. Tomorrow, I'm doing a mayor's forum at Plymouth. I think there's like 6, 7, 8, 9 mayors, I don't know. I can look at my email, but there's a good chunk of us that are like, you keep your comments short.
Yeah.
So you can get to all of them when we have a question. It's only an hour and a half, so.
It looked like there were about 7 from the
7.
western side.
Okay. So, anybody wants to come, otherwise, I'd imagine it's gonna be filmed or something. Put on, I think it's the league that's doing it.
It's at the Plymouth, where we have the,
Yeah, Crown Plaza.
yeah, where they have the meetings, the council
Oh,
meetings.
okay.
Oh,
I believe that's in that same building.
Yeah, it's at the city of Plymouth.
Yeah.
Oh, at their city,
At the
their
city
community
hall.
center?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing, just not to go too long, because the Wild are winning 2-1.
Yeah. They just scored.
They just scored. But the Twins are 0-0, so you have time for that. Like parks and furniture and all that kind of stuff. I know we've basically kind of approved, but not. So I want to, I know we try to talk about it in our workshop a little bit, but I think we need to get a game plan and get it going quick on, let's fill, we have a big open park, but we have nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
So I think we need to figure that out. I don't know how much we want to have a say in that, or if we want to just instruct Jesse and Ryan to,
Well, I'd like to see what we're doing.
yeah.
That's the whole reason we pulled it, so
Yeah.
we could be part of it, so.
Could you bring that to the next meeting?
Yes, well, since we are coming back for the Avon stuff with Ryan, I'll just
Yeah.
have him pull together some things that we would traditionally put in some of the other parks. I think Brian sort of mentioned earlier that the permanent structures were pulled, but that doesn't necessarily preclude us from having something in the park.
Yeah.
So, yes, we'll just pull that together for 2 weeks from now.
So I know I get these magazines with like all the park furniture, right? Maybe you could bring a couple or get some, here's, a couple ideas.
Some examples.
And show us, what you guys imagine. Think about the colors and what colors we'd want in that area. Obviously, I think most of it would be like the metal with the rubber around it, right? So it'd be like long lasting picnic tables. I think we were looking at like tables that were like octagon or round or something, and there's different seats on each side, and I know one has to be accessible.
ADA.
Yeah, ADA for at least, I think in the whole area, maybe, I don't know. But just make sure we look at all that. I know a lot of us are like Adirondack and some of us don't, but I think if we had some and some not, in that other area up north, I think that would be, anyway, just throwing out ideas unless you guys have ideas that you want to give them before we talk about
Well,
this next.
I'll find out, but I know we were driving around somewhere and we saw some chairs that were similar to Adirondack, higher up, easier to access, that were made out of wood, that were a little larger than an individual chair, but not a bench.
And they were made out of real.
What wood
They were
though?
made out of real, I think it was probably treated lumber, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't even, it looked like, I don't know.
Did you
I'll
get a
pictures.
picture?
No, I was driving.
Yeah, get a
Can't
picture.
find
and
my
bring
phone
it.
while I'm driving.
We can look at
No,
it.
I'll get some pictures.
Yeah.
And then I'll get them to Jesse.
And find out if it's engineered wood or real
I'm pretty
wood.
sure they were, yeah, I don't know what they were. Anyway. Sorry, never mind. I'll get it to you, Jesse.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's not 2-1 anymore, it's 1-1.
It's going the wrong way.
They pulled the goal, or anyway. Okay, does staff have any comments? I know you want to get out of here to watch the game an hour ago,
I do
sorry.
too.
Listen, I got nowhere I'd rather be.
Good answer.
All right, nothing? All right. Okay, next city council meeting is Tuesday, May 12th at 6 right here. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, we're adjourned.